Hello and welcome to another AIC video. Got another quick one for you today, unscripted, just because it showed up yesterday. I took the time to set it up. I want to just kind of go through it, but I've always looked at AliExpress to see what kind of weird random stuff they have going on here. And very rarely do I see something that catches my eye that makes me go, I kind of really want that. They have a ton of laptops on here. For what seems like it might be a good price, but I felt like it was such a risk to buy it. If there's any issues with it or anything, it'd be hard to return it, hard to deal with it. But I came across this, and it is a tiny 8-inch sub laptop, I guess you'd call it, or notebook. Anyways, and it had a very interesting configuration. It has a Celeron, I believe, N100. So I've seen like the N4100s, 4150s, things like that. This is not a CPU I'm very familiar with, and it has 12 gigs of RAM, which is a really strange configuration. Normally for stuff like this, you're lucky to get 4 gigs of RAM, and this has 12. So I went ahead and ordered it, and it took about 3 months to show up. And I did order the configuration with no storage, save a little bit of money, and I had extra storage drives here just to show to go to 128 gig ads was at about $18. To go to a 240 gig adds about 30 or $27. So it's not a huge amount of money to add storage, but since I already had a drive lying around not being used, I decided to order it without storage. So not a deal breaker to order it without with storage. They're not charging an incredible amount of money. In fact, it might even be cheaper than buying storage if you don't already own some. But let me show you what I got. Excuse the mess in the background. I'm still in the throes of unpacking and unboxing my life. So this is the system. It is very small. It does have a screen that swivels and folds flat so that it is like a tablet. It is aluminum, so it is metal, and it is quite heavy, surprisingly heavy for its price and size. There are no ports along the left side, no ports or lights along the front. On the right side is where we have all but, I believe, one of the ports, and you have your charging USB Type-C. You have, which has display. You have an HDMI, a headphone microphone, one USB port, one Type A port, excuse me. You have Ethernet, which is kind of the reason why I bought this. Is there's a lot of times, like just this last, I guess 2 weeks ago now, I was over at my parents helping them troubleshoot their network. And so I brought one of my older laptops over that has a network port on it so I could plug in and troubleshoot, and this has that. So that is actually something I still do absolutely use. Vent for fan, and it does have a fan. It is actively cooled, but that fan is not very loud. Vent on the bottom for the fan to pull air through. Let's go ahead and open it up here real quick. There's just 6 screws. They're all the same size. And this just lifts out. Not much holding it in. Here's where the storage is. It is a 2242, I believe, is the size for that SSD. So it's not a very big one. They did make sure to message me that. They also messaged me the driver files for this, and that was necessary because Windows definitely did not recognize like the wireless. Looks like it's a 36.5 watt-hour battery. So manufactured June of this year, so less than a month ago because today's the 13th. So battery's pretty fresh and new, which I like to see. Obviously everything is integrated, wireless, Wi-Fi, all that I believe is all just integrated to the board. Let's see if we can trace those wires at all. They come down. I don't see where they go. Looks like they go to maybe the backside because I see the wires here for the wireless. I pull this back and they go somewhere. But it looks like they come around and go to the other side of the board. Maybe, no, here. There it is. I found it. So again, trying to do this through the camera's hard, but yeah, it's soldered on. RAM, I'm thinking, is on the other side of the board. I didn't take the board out of the system. I'm not going to do that yet. So anyways, a very compact system. Like I said, the fan seems to be pretty quiet, but the system, because it's aluminum chassis, does get quite toasty when you're pushing it. So that's something to be aware of, is if you're doing something intensive on this system, the heat does transfer into the aluminum chassis and it does get quite warm. All right, go ahead and flip this back. And we will talk about the keyboard real quick. It is a US-ish layout. It's obviously very compact. Some of the keys are very interestingly shaped or placed. One thing, I wish the backspace and maybe the delete key were reversed, because that delete key is about where I'd want to hit the backspace key with my pinky automatically. So I wish these two were reversed because I definitely use backspace a lot more than I use delete. Function key, I can barely hit down here on the left. This is your track point. It is not an actual point, it's a sensor that you just kind of rub your finger over and you can use it to double tap on stuff. These are your mouse buttons, these are space bar. It is a huge compromise in usability, but it's not the worst, actually. I have absolutely had worse keyboards on other systems that are bigger than this. Let's go ahead and turn it on and take a look at the system itself. All right, hit the power button there. Now, I don't like the power button being part of the keyboard, but I do understand it. Didn't hit it properly the first time, I guess. American Megatrends for the BIOS, which I found interesting. And it boots super quick. It did not come with Windows installed or activated. I'll have to get that activated. All right. Using this to click is hard. Just use the mouse buttons. So you can see the Intel, oh, I guess not Celeron. It's an Intel R N100 with your 12 gigs of RAM. I haven't tried to activate this yet. So I installed 10 Pro. I don't know if it needed to be 10 Home. I don't know if that was my problem or not. I don't know if there's a activation key built into the system. We can go ahead and run the performance benchmark though. Give us an idea of how this does. It does have the two little speakers here and they're pretty okay. Surprisingly better than I expected, but not good. You just don't expect a lot. Oh, let me go ahead and plug in charger here. It does come with a charger. Let me grab that. All right, so this is the brick it came with. It is a 30 watt max brick with a fairly short cable. I am using the charger for my ThinkPad, which works fine. It just is a longer cable, so that makes a difference. And sorry for the helicopter over me. There is a forest fire not that far away, so they've been buzzing the area. Trying to put that out. So go ahead and run the benchmark. All right, so let's scroll in on that screen a little bit. Let me adjust. There we go. So scores are not anything to write home about. Uh, Overall score less than 1,000. CPU is actually pretty decent, but the 2D and 3D graphics are pretty poor, on par with say like maybe a 4th gen Core i5, something like that. So not great, but I'm just curious what you would do with a system like this. If you had access to a teeny tiny system with a teeny tiny keyboard, what would you do with it? Would you use it for multimedia? What kind of games would you want to play on it? Things like that. I'm definitely going to be playing around with this, installing some games on here. Minecraft probably, maybe some other games like Fall Guys, stuff like that, to see what kind of gaming you could do with it. Something like this is not obviously a laptop replacement. It really is, you know, just a barely pocketable system that you can take with you on the go and do basic computing needs, check your email, things like that. I just thought it was super interesting. I love the touchscreen. Normally I'm not a big touchscreen person, but because it flips, folds, and in on itself, it really adds an element to this that I think is valuable. Anyways, hope you enjoyed taking a look at this 12th gen mini gaming laptop, Intel Alder Lake N100 4-core 8-inch touchscreen 12G DDR5 Windows 11 notebook tablet PC 2-in-1 Wi-Fi 6 from AliExpress. Anyways, I thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.